We're good to go. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a great lineup, I think, on our panel discussion today. Really excited to bring these special guests and excited to welcome a great group of higher education institutions to the call today. I know there's quite a great number of you guys on here today, and we're really excited to welcome you. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we get going. This will be recorded, and we will send out the slide and the recordings to you afterwards so that you can, review that again if you guys are interested, or you can pass it along to colleagues maybe who weren't able to attend. We also have a questions box over in the GoToWebinar little panel thing it should be on the right hand of your screen. So if you have a question, please just chat that in. Kelly on the line will be manning the questions box and making sure that we get all of your questions answered. All right, so with no further ado, I would like to take a quick moment for us to introduce ourselves. I'm Taylor Shanklin. I'm the Director of Marketing Strategy here at Kimbia, and do lots and all things marketing when it comes to Kimbia. However, before joining Kimbia, I've been working for, I guess, around the past decade with hundreds of organizations doing online fundraising. So really excited to be here and to be joined today by Joannah and Megan. Joannah, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Joannah Pickett. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Annual Giving at Georgetown University. I've been in the industry for approximately 20 years. I can't believe I said that. And I'm happy to be here today to help answer any questions anyone has about doing a higher ed giving day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joannah. Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Farmer. I'm the Director of Annual Giving at the University of Maryland. I've been at Maryland for about 2.5 years, and we've done 3 versions of Giving Day since I've been here. I've been in annual giving for over a decade, and look forward to sharing our insights on how we've improved our Giving Day over the time I've been here.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Joannah. We're really excited to have you on and join us for the panel discussion today. You guys do some amazing things with your Giving Days, so we're excited to talk about it and kind of show it off. So just a quick review of the agenda here. We will make this, we do want this to feel like a panel just in a virtual setting. We'll be doing a quick overview of University Giving Days. So if you're curious about, what is it about these Giving Days everyone's talking about, why do they work? We want to share that with you. And then have each, Joannah and Megan, share their story with you guys about their Giving Day. And then we're going to open it up to just some questions where we'll pick their brains about, what is it that works? What do they find some of their best strategies have been? And again, we'll open it up at the end for Q&A. But please do feel free to type in any questions throughout the panel if you do have questions as they come up. Okay, so why Giving Days? Everyone's talking about it. It's kind of a cool new fad, right? But it's not so new anymore. What is it about Giving Days that work? Really what we've found in doing hundreds and hundreds of, Giving Days and different types of online fundraising campaigns here over the years is that Giving Days really provide a way for people to have some fun and really rally around the cause or rally around a single day of giving. So you see that with things like Giving Tuesday and what universities are doing with their Giving Days. It's a great way to, engage alumni, students, donors. It's also a great way to kind of look at your lapsed donors or alumni who maybe aren't very involved and reach out to them with an opportunity to get engaged again. Giving Days provide a lot of, ways to reach people online via social sharing and just having this kind of online fun day of giving, both online and also doing things around at the university. And why does it work? I think it's really, for me, the gamification of it. And gamification is a word where maybe it's thrown around a lot, but essentially with Giving Days, the gamification of it is creating the challenge, I think, creating the incentive for people to go, because during that one day, there's a lot of competition. So you could be driving competition among different schools or colleges within a university, driving, fun and incentives around prizes and matching donations when you reach, a certain donation amount, let's say, maybe at a particular time of day. So it's really just a lot of it's about the gamification and why it works. With Kimbia, our giving days are highly configurable, where you control your branding, scalable so that you can, include, different athletic clubs within the school, different schools within the university, and the like. And it really, we give you the control of your data and the funds. We do provide a strategic communications toolkit. So we give you the tools to help make you successful with this stuff. And with that, I would like to go ahead and turn it over to Megan first to talk for us a bit about why University of Maryland chose to do Giving Day, and just to give us some background about their success.
Sure, thank you. Like I said, so we have done 4 Giving Days. I've been a part of 3 of them. And the first iterations of our Giving Days were actually called Scholarship Day, and it was heavily focused just on scholarships. And that was successful as we were looking to see how we could innovate and improve on our results. We really knew that we needed to get more campus engagement from our units, and so we transitioned to a more general Giving Day. And that has really been what has been driving our growth, because we've been able to get the units more invested. And I would say that really is the key. We can't do it alone. It can't be something that we just push up and say, hey, we have this great idea. We really need our development officers, our alumni relations folks. We need everybody's help to promote this and get it out there, marketing and communications. And so you really have to have those campus partnerships, I would say. And then really what kind of took things off for us this year was we adopted the model of using more challenge gifts and to drive that competition and to get more people involved. We also expanded the number of funds that people could give to, and that seemed to be very appealing and helped our unit give their buy-in and their support. So that, I would say, are kind of the highlights of what it's been. We also moved from the fall to the spring. That was successful for us because it was a quiet period, sort of in the marketing calendar, and it allowed us to focus a lot of time and energy towards Giving Day.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. And you guys, so you just had your 4th year event. You continue to grow each year, and this year you actually set a record with I think gifts and dollars raised. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome.
And we definitely more than doubled our dollars raised. We actually were almost, we were over almost 2 million more. We were at like 200 something last year. And so we did get one very large windfall gift, but we still would have been over $1 million ahead of last year without that windfall gift.
Great. All right, moving on. Joanna, would you give us a bit of background around the Blue and Grade A Challenge at Georgetown?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Georgetown, to set a stage, we just finished a capital campaign that really had 3 goals to it. The first goal was to raise $1.5 billion, which we exceeded in June of last year. The second goal was actually to raise our undergraduate alumni participation rate from 27% 5 years prior to 35%. And the final goal was actually to raise $500 million in scholarship support for Georgetown University. So with those goals in mind, we actually created our very first Giving Day with Kimbia about 5 years ago, in 2013. And in the spring of 2013, we created something called the City Challenge, where we engaged alumni from a variety of different cities to compete for the highest level of giving with each other, to have a scholarship named in honor of their city. That actually served us very well for 2013, 2014, and 2015. We actually held those different Giving Days, exactly the same. everybody at the end, the city with the highest percentage highest percent of giving, highest dollars raised, each had a $25,000 scholarship named for them the next year. In order for us to be able to grow, we really wanted to engage beyond our key largest markets. And so this year we created the Blue and Gray Day Challenge, which had both a competition for the highest percentage participation for the undergraduate class with the highest participation, as well as the region with the highest level of participation, and the highest total number of donors for each class, undergraduate class, as well as regional donors. And this was important to us because, as I shared, we are on a quest for raising our undergraduate participation rates to a level that increases 1 percentage point each fiscal year. Giving days have been crucial donor days for us at Georgetown, raising our percentage participation each year that we've conducted this between 1% and 2% each time. So this past year, in order to grow this, we put together a campaign we held in March. We designed it to be 1,789 minutes, which is in honor of our founding year, which is almost nearly 30 hours, which is a long giving day, but very meaningful for us in order to build up to that exact moment where everybody's frantically giving. And we really set our goals, actually not anything related to dollars raised, although this past year it says we hit 462. We really crested 500,000, which was really good for us. Because we hold this in the middle of the spring, we are really gathering up those donors who either have lapsed or we have not yet been able to engage that fiscal year by making a gift. So we really are going after those people who are the least likely to make a gift or the most likely that we're going to lose their gift in that fiscal year. So our actual goals that we set internally were around 500 first-time fiscal year donors for this particular day. And we engaged around 2,000 volunteers in order to help us to generate this. So I work with a very, very gifted and talented team of individuals at Georgetown who helped us to create partnerships across the institution, who helped us ignite and excite all of our volunteers to be engaged on social media and to help in a peer-to-peer fashion drive giving on this particular day. And we really engaged and kind of unleashed, I would say, the creativity of our teams in order to really raise the sights for Georgetown. So I don't know about all of you, but I work with a team of very talented communication specialists who are ascribed to really present the brand in a very specific way. And these days have provided us a fun opportunity to really release ourselves a little bit from that institutional brand and make the opportunity for fundraising a little bit more fun. And that has really tapped into some of the most exciting aspects of giving for us, and also to engage a community of people who are really excited about seeing Georgetown in a different way and in a really personal way to them. So we're really, really very pleased. This last year, we actually had around 2,000 donors at the end of our campaign, about 2,200 gifts. And we had 1,188 undergraduate alumni who had not yet made a gift in the fiscal year make a gift. So that really helped propel us to very, very high participation rates, which we are holding on to as tightly as we can through the end of June, which is the end of our fiscal year. And I would say that our dollars are probably not as high as University of Maryland because as they are right in opening up the opportunities for where you give, typically increases your dollars and your donors. At Georgetown, however, we have kept our focus very, very tight for our highest priority, which is fundraising for scholarships. And so we have really, we're really excited about the opportunity to do these days. They really have supported our overall mass marketing campaign and plan. And we're already thinking through what we want to do kind of next.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, congratulations to both of you guys on your just continued success and year over year and, growth and, tweaks that you make each year. Joanna, I love the 4 challenges, 4 winners. for scholarships, how it's just really front and center about, again, bringing in that element of challenge and incentive and fun. So kind of moving into the next, thing on this topic, what, when thinking about doing a giving day as an opportunity to both engage your strongest supporters and also those who don't ever give to you, from both of your perspectives, what are some of the strategies that have worked the best? And I'm also curious, what are maybe some things that you've tried that didn't pan out as well? So Megan, you want to get us started there?
Sure. I would say one of the things that we were looking at was how we could engage kind of our internal audiences and our external audiences. And one of the surprising things that has been really great for Giving Day is how much we've basically been able to do a faculty and staff campaign around it. So as that has been those are some of our strongest supporters already, but it has really, with the competition aspect between the units, they have done some really fun things, and it has been a really great way to engage them and get them to give. And again, because they can support their own department, that is something that they're excited and enthusiastic to do and spread the word and get their colleagues to give as well. One of the other things that we did this year was to engage students. We had a Board of Trustees member actually after the meeting where the presentation about Giving Day coming up was given. She said, how can we get more students involved? So she ponied up a matching challenge gift, and we went from having a handful of students give last year to over 1,000 students give this year. So that's very good for building our pipeline for participation moving forward. We also added a Greek challenge. We know that our sororities and fraternities have strong networks, and so we were able to work with our foundation to set up scholarship accounts for each fraternity and sorority on campus that was active and in good standing, so that we could have alumni volunteers work with those networks. So that was very positive for us. I would say one of the things we thought would be more appealing is we did have sports clubs as an option, and we thought that would be appealing to student athletes, and that was not as successful as we thought it would. But that could be because we didn't have such a strong volunteer component promoting that. So those are some of the big things that we did. I would also say working with our marketing and communications team to develop our social media strategy. They helped create some fun videos for us over last year and this year that sort of had a teaser element to them and a big reveal that drove traffic to the site. That is sort of, one of our North Star guiding principles is what we're doing going to drive more people to the site, and will it encourage them to make a gift? So those are things that we always keep in mind. Some of the other principles that we use too is this going to get us more dollars, and is this going to get us more donors? And we tried to find a way to say yes as often as possible with those two guiding principles in mind. So that's why we opened up, being able to give to a specific department or unit. They could do a write-in option of giving a gift to other. And so, yeah, those partnerships were very successful. And we actually went out and did kind of a dog and pony show in each unit to really help them plan things out, so that each unit had an individual strategy for how they were going to do outreach to their alumni via email, via social media, et cetera. So those were some of the big things that we did.
And so tell me too, I've got this picture of the box on the slide here. Can you tell me a little bit about what that's about?
So the idea of the box was born last year, and then this year the box was back. And basically we had students, or we had a race car in one of the boxes. They were all centered around our campaign themes, of inspiring to pride, curiosity, boldness, just different campaign themes. And we had students from different areas and units. We had members of the basketball team jump out of the box. So we worked with our marketing and communications team. So we teased the video in our pre-promotion emails and social media posts saying what's in the box, and then on the day of, we had the reveal video where the students were busting out of the boxes, and people would click on the video, and the video is actually embedded on the Kimbia page, so it drove them right there to see what was inside the box. And that had, I don't have the numbers, but it increased our web traffic to the Kimbia homepage by, it was leaps and bounds.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that example because I think it's a great example of doing something on campus during the day in addition to what's going on in the online space, and driving people to go online and look at the website and see what's going on, and having the ability to have that video right next to, you know, the call to action to donate. So I love that example. I wanted to prod you a little bit on that. Thank you. Joanna, what do you think? What's worked for you guys when it comes to engaging those who are already your strong supporters, and then also getting those who aren't giving to you involved?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've definitely done to engage people on our giving day has been to communicate with those people who have previously made a gift to Georgetown. So inviting them in advance, letting them know that this is happening, letting them know that we know that they already are strong supporters of the institution, and inviting them to actually engage with the event as volunteers and in the conversation on social. So we have sent them and created for them kind of portals where volunteers can go and grab their own set of social shares that are distinctly different from what is open to the widest audience in order for them to use, so that they can really be almost look like they are ambassadors of the institution. And leveraging that has been really a great way for current donors to actually get on social media, tag their friends, and talk about what they have, why they make gifts to Georgetown, and invite other people to do so as well. So that has been a really great way to, you know, after donors give, they often ask us, well, what more can I do? What can I do to help? So this is one answer to that question for them. The second is, in order to kind of continue to create what I call the omni-channel message, so we create a website, we drive a lot of attention there, we talk about what we're trying to do on social media, but in order to also continue that conversation, we actually included peer-to-peer engagement with alumni calling each other directly, or a member of the softball team calling other members of the softball team to encourage them to make a gift on that day, or sending emails. The other thing we added this year was around digital advertising. So the opportunity that anybody who is an alum would receive some sort of ad, whether they visited the website for the giving day or not, within their social media places and spaces. And so that was really helpful for us in order to really make it seem like Georgetown University was having an online event. Like wherever you went, there was this event happening and you needed to be a part of it. So I'd say those were two particular levers that we pulled. I think the other thing is you have to make it easy. We tried to make it so that there was one goal, one action we wanted you to take, one way for you to support, and then after you supported, then you could continue to join the conversation online. But the easier we made it, the more likely we were to get our never givers to be able to be a participant in this very special day for the institution.
Love, I'm so glad that you just said that. I think it's so true. The user experience and having a very clear call to action and putting them through that process first before then putting people into other forms of communication, I think is so important, and something to be thinking about if you are thinking about a giving day or just your online fundraising strategy in general. The ease of use it's always been important. It's becoming more and more important as people expect things to be easier and faster to do. So I love that you bring that up. I think it's also a great example that you shared about doing online advertising and retargeting and hitting people up, you know, being able to target alumni on Facebook or, you know, wherever else they are on social media channels. So awesome ideas. Great.
I would add one other thing, which is the idea of the false deadlines, the sense of urgency, and evoking a competitive side amongst our donors is something we don't typically do through other marketing and communication methodologies throughout the year. So it's really tapping into a very different side of why people give. And I think that has also been a way to really engage these never givers, which has been really helpful in trying to drive people with a limited time frame toward a deadline and a goal about winning and making sure that your voice is heard.
Yeah, great point. So anything else in particular around cultivating relationships with alumni? And you can see here, this is a screenshot of a bunch of different social feeds. Was there something specific you guys were doing, Joannah, for Blue and Gray Day around alum and getting them to share something specific? Tell us what you did there.
So we, as I shared before, we actually did leverage an army of volunteers and an army of very talented communications team members to really help create a conversation online. And part of that we did by both tweeting at people, but also sharing a limited, almost like a limited edition set of social media posts with some of the people that were our volunteers in different areas, so that they had something that looked different than what other people had out there. And then also making sure that our alumni, who many of them are very digitally talented in their own right, some of them had the mechanisms and the ability to make their own social media posts. And we were really engaging them to kind of come back and be part of the conversation. For the club, for the regional clubs in particular, as well as the classes, we've rewarded the clubs and the classes with the most number of social media posts in an effort to engage them to reach a broader group of people. And the awards there for them internally were things like $250 towards your next alumni relations event. So really a gift that kind of keeps giving back to the institution around deeper engagement.
Awesome. And Megan, what about you guys? Did you do anything else in particular to really cultivate alumni on social media or other channels? Megan, you might be muted if you're talking.
Sorry.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I would say this year, one of the new things that we did is we actually collected people's Twitter handles on the gift form field, and then we actually tweeted out thank you tweets to people to thank them for their gift. So stewardship is something that we're constantly revisiting too for Giving Day, is how can we make sure people feel like that we know about their gift and that we are very excited about it. So that was something that a lot of units did and that we did centrally as well.
Great. I love that example of collecting the Twitter handle and then tweeting out to them. That's great. Okay, so something that people ask us is, there is a lot of marketing effort around a Giving Day and being successful with a Giving Day. And I'm curious to get you guys' perspective around, how do you keep it interesting? First off, if you're thinking about doing a Giving Day, what tips do you have for your first year? And then moving beyond the first year, how do you think about growing it, keeping people interested, keeping them coming back, and maybe doing different things to keep it enticing? Megan, you want to share your thoughts on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Great.
I would say that the first tip for hosting a first-year event is to just do it. Jump in and get it off the ground, because you don't know what you don't know. So I think you do need to have a trial year and sort of get a baseline to figure out, okay, what do we want to do? What do we want to focus on? Do we want this to be, a very focused message, mission-driven thing? Do we want it to be a big free-for-all? All of those things you kind of, I think, will learn after doing it the first time. So I would say don't be afraid to do it would be the first thing. And the second thing is just try and cultivate as many partners across campus, whether that's within marketing and communications, alumni relations, et cetera, to help get the word out, because it isn't something you can do on your own. But if you can be the central planning and, drive the marketing strategy, and then have your partners across campus help you execute that, I think that is a key to making it successful. And then the second part of continuing growth year after year, again, you learn something each year that you do it. We did a lot of hourly prizes, and we have tweaked those from year to year, seeing that, we wanted to drive more social media activity, so we created some more interesting social media prizes during the day. We did some Facebook posts with some like contests that we threw some extra prize money that way. And then last year and this year was when we really adopted those challenge gifts and worked with our development officers to find donors who would be willing to create those challenges. And I think that has really unlimited potential, because you can structure those in so many ways to achieve whatever goal that you would like to achieve.
Great. Joannah, what are your thoughts on that and advice?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything Megan said. I think I tried to do a lot of things like this, listening to webinars. I tried to listen and talk with people who had held a giving event. In fact, I even remember having conversations with the University of Maryland when they were thinking about doing their first one, just so that you can kind of understand what the potential pitfalls are and what people are saying are some of the issues. I also agree that the more partners that you have on any type of giving event, your first year, your last year, can really be super helpful in terms of communicating and really spreading the word. And then how to continue that growth year after year. Some part of it is going back to the same people who really enjoyed this form of giving and encouraging them to give again. Then it's about asking those folks if they can get more and more people engaged in the same type of giving day. And then again, it's the more partners you have and the broader the reach is in a peer-to-peer way or in an authentic conversational way about why this matters to be involved is really helpful.
Yeah, I love what you say there. I think it's very true. The peer-to-peer model, people are more likely to give to me, Taylor, because I'm asking you, Joannah, as an example, to give to my school because, this is why I care about it. And what's interesting, too, is we're starting to see more and more organizations and institutions actually put more peer-to-peer tools into their giving days too. So if that's something you guys are interested in, we'd love to talk to you about that. But I do love what you mentioned about that. Well, any other thoughts? Kelly, are there any questions that have come in before I kind of move into the next final part of this?
Yes, we do have questions rolling in now, actually. One is, and I'm not sure who it's directed to, so either of you guys can take this, but the question is, did you provide any incentives for volunteers? Sorry, did you provide any incentives for volunteers?
We at Georgetown did not. We worked just like Maryland did to steward some of our best donors on social media who were engaged with us that way, but we did not say to engage with us, you'll get a hat or anything like that at all.
We also did not do any sort of concrete incentive like that. It was much more grassroots and looking at the people we knew were influencers out there and asking for their help.
Megan, I've got one other question for you, and this was in a discussion kind of as we were talking about putting together this panel we had with Brian, and I heard you mention it as well, talking about the North Stars. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means to you and, how you use those North Stars to help you drive decision making?
So in a big institution, there's a lot of a lot of hurdles that you have to go through, you know, to change anything, to try anything new. And we also have, you know, many different schools and units on campus, some small, some big. So they all have their own interests that they're trying to promote. They have their own needs and wants, et cetera, et cetera. So whenever we were given a request or a challenge that we wanted to overcome, we just kept asking ourselves, is this worth it? Is it going to get us more donors? Is it going to get us more dollars? And most of the time the answer was yes. So then it was a matter of finding a solution to the challenge. And sometimes the answer was no, where there were some schools and units that wanted to do very overly complicated challenges and prize structures. And we, just from our experience of doing it before, kind of had to guide them away from doing something like that. It was diluting the ask. It was going to be too complicated. The call to action wasn't clear. So in that case, the answer was no. So that's what we mean by that, is that whenever we were trying to add something, change something, do anything, we just wanted to always ask the question, is this going to help us achieve our goal?
Awesome. Thanks. I love that. Great feedback. Great advice just in general, and in any project that you're undertaking, really. Kelly, do we have any other questions on the chat box?
It can spiral out of control, so that's why.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's good to have that guiding principle.
Okay, we do. How much fundraising did you do ahead of time for your campaign, the silent phase?
At Georgetown, we did 0.
So we had a 2-week VIP event prior to the day that we did allow some of our, to just give a little bit more time for maybe some more of those complicated gifts or some of those conversations that might take a little while to get a gift teed up. So we did have a private link that our development officers were able to share with select donors that they knew might be interested in Giving Day. So we did, and we also promoted it to our board of trustees in that 2-week period, and we were asking them to have 100% participation to make a gift for Giving Day, and so we wanted to give them that time ahead of time to do that as well. So, but it's a very focused 2-week period. It's not a mass promotion. It was just very selectively shared with some donors that we were trying to cultivate or move along for Giving Day.
Okay, thank you. And the second part to that question was, how did you go about securing a matching or challenge gift, especially one where the donor allowed their gift to be designated to any area that won a challenge?
So the way that we did that was, and a lot of the times, this is a strategy also. Sometimes it was a gift that a donor was going to be making anyway. These were not all new solicitations just for Giving Day. Some of them were solicitations that kind of morphed into, hey, what if we used your gift as a challenge on Giving Day? So those were very personal one-on-one conversations between development officers and their donors. And what we would do is, it just kind of on the back end, not to get too inside baseball, you know, with the rules and everything, but for some of them, if it wasn't a fund that was available on the Giving Day site, it's something that we would just handle on the back end. But those were solicitations that were carried out by our gift officers for the most part. And if there was any kind of complication with what the fund was going to be supporting, those were kind of things that we just handled on the back end with the donor.
And we at Georgetown we have not ever approached it this way. We have really been looking for what we would call unlocking gifts that would be related to our biggest cause, which is scholarship. So we approached individual donors who really cared about us reaching our percent participation goal and our scholarship goals, and asked them to make a consideration to make an authentic gift. So we did not use gifts that were already previously committed to be made. We actually went and tried to leverage this opportunity to get new cash money for us.
Thank you both for answering that. Okay, so we have one more question here for Megan and Joannah. What advantage does Kimbia bring to your giving days as opposed to other providers?
Joannah, do you want to take that?
Yeah, this is Joannah. No, I'm sorry. I was trying to get off mute. I've enjoyed working with Kimbia. I think we just completed our 4th project with them, and we're initiating a 5th one, our 2nd this fiscal year. Part of it is the expertise and the background of doing all-sized fundraising activities like this has been really helpful for me. Knowing that in some cases Kimbia has been flexible with us on helping us execute portions of our project that were very standard, and then also really with us on the journey as we try to do some new things here at Georgetown.
I would echo what Joannah said as well. I think the expertise that they can provide, the best practices that they can provide are extremely, extremely helpful. If it's something that, if it's an idea that we want to try, they can say yay or nay or guide us in a certain way, or they've often given us suggestions to accomplish something that they know worked well for another institution. So that's really, I would say, what would put them above other products and other solutions, is that they have that best practice knowledge. And it's certainly not something that I would want to undertake as a homegrown platform. So, I mean, the investment is certainly worth it to get that competition aspect, the tracking and reporting capabilities. All of those things would be very difficult for us to replicate on our own. And so that is something that, and the scalability of it has been really important for us too. So those would all be pros of working with Kimbia.
Well, thank you both for the kind words on that. We love working with you all as well. Kelly, are there any other questions?
I have one more right now, and then I also have one that I'd like to ask. So let me start with this one. If there was one thing that you could change, what would it be? And that's something that could have gone well, but you want to tweak it next year, or something that you forgot to do, or something that didn't quite go as you had planned.
This is Joannah. I don't know how to answer that. I feel like some of the devil's in the details on these days, and I would always want to make sure, a little bit like what Megan was talking about, the North Star. I jokingly have something we call like the zombie influencers. So who are the people who are going to be the naysayers in your project, and how do you get in front of them sooner rather than you're kind of going along your merry way and then they pop up out of nowhere and kind of hunt you down? So I would make sure to get more in front of some of my zombie influencers. And then I think part of it is really continuing to create stronger and stronger partnerships and focusing on those partnerships more so than some of the other aspects of a giving day have really yielded us some of the best results and interactions.
Yeah, going off of that a little bit, I think there's always things that you try and anticipate that you can't anticipate. And I would say some of the things that we would probably change are just more how like I said, you need your partners to help be successful, but then you also have to deal with them when they go rogue or do something that isn't entirely, isn't helping our North Star goals. So I think that you do need to try and anticipate as much as possible. And that's probably, there were a few small, they were nothing major, but there were a few small things that units did that I wish we would have thought about beforehand.
Great. So my question, and this might be a hard one, so just answer if you can, but one thing I've heard a lot recently is, and especially for multi-year events, is what happens if you don't beat your goal? in the next year. So is that something that you are both thinking about going into 2018? And is that just maybe tweaking what your goal is, or can you speak to that?
It's a big concern for us because, like I said, we got one very large windfall gift this year. So the pressure is on to, find a gift to replicate that and continue our kind of organic growth as well. So it's definitely something that we're concerned about, but it's also a good motivator. And it is something that we know that we can kind of pressure our internal partners with a little bit too to help us. So it is always a concern. We haven't run into it, yet. But like I said, it can be some positive peer pressure with your partners to say, look, we've got to keep this thing going. What can we do? And how can we help each other do it?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the constant goal chasing is, in annual giving in particular, is always difficult. How do you do better than you did last year? So I think it's always managing expectations, setting realistic goals, sharing those goals internally and externally, and then talking about what it's going to take in order to meet them, so everybody has an ownership and a buy-in to make sure that that happens.
Awesome. Good advice.
Thank you both. Taylor, that's all the questions I have for now. If you want to keep going, and I'll see if anything else comes in.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Kelly. Good questions, and thanks so much for sending those questions in for Joanna and for Megan. Thanks again for sharing your expertise with that. I just want to wrap up with a couple of things and highlights about, how we like to approach giving days with you here at Kimbia. We're very, very focused on making sure that you maintain your brand. So we give you the tools, the hosted Giving Day website, but you own it. It has all of your branding on it. It does, not look like a Kimbia site because we know how important that is, that your brand and your mission is front and center. Like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of features and functionality to have that gamification to show real-time campaign results. Leaderboards, we have a variety of ways that we can do leaderboards, so you've got flexibility and scalability with those. We also do offer a success kit, essentially, with social media, training and strategy and tactics to help you make the most out of your giving day. So we really do take a very hands-on approach with higher ed institutions and organizations doing giving days with us. We've done a lot of giving days. We've done a lot of giving days with higher ed in particular. And we look forward to doing a lot more. So we're really excited, if you are interested in doing a giving day and pursuing one, to chat with you after this. You can shoot an email over to info@kimbia.com if you want to get some more information. I'm also going to show you my email address. If you even have questions and just want to reach out personally to me, you can send an email to me, Taylor@Kimbia.com, to chat, and I can point you in the right direction and get you in touch with all of the right people to show off what our Giving Day capabilities can do for you. So again, I want to say thank you so much to Joanna and to Megan for joining us and sharing your experience and your expertise and your kind words today. And I do want to just open it up again to see if any other questions have rolled in.
I think we are all done here, Taylor.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, as we mentioned at the beginning, we will send out the recording and the slide deck to you all. So just be looking for that in your inbox. And again, shoot an email over to us at info@kimbia.com. Or if you've got questions and want to reach me personally, you can email Taylor@Kimbia.com. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to talking to you.